Arsenal make their move. Milinkovic-Savic may leave. Zlatan says Zlatan things. There's a European shock and a transfer roundup, all coming up in the next few minutes, as I'm your host, Matt Froelich. You are the Onefootballers, and this is the Daily News. So first off, and to Arsenal, who after signing Gabriel Martinelli have made their second signing of the transfer window in Saint Etienne defender William Zaha. Now, the 18-year-old was subject to a late bid from Tottenham, who tried to hijack the move, but the young defender stuck to his word and joined the Gunners instead. It's a 5-year deal which actually sees him go back to Saint Etienne on loan for the next season. So whilst Arsenal protected themselves in the defence for the future, there's still question marks over their defence at the moment, and Mustafi had a pretty poor game against Bayern Munich in a pre-season friendly. That, along with the fact that Laurent Koscielny refused to even go on the tour, means Arsenal still have problems. On the Laurent Koscielny note, he apparently is being removed as club captain, with Granit Xhaka the front runner to be skipper at the Emirates. But alongside this, there's also more Arsenal transfer news, as they're still haggling with Celtic over the price of Kieran Tierney, and Wilf Zaha, their long-term target at Crystal Palace, has handed in a transfer request. The Ivorian attacking midfielder has said that once he comes back from the African Cup of Nations, he wants to be leaving the club. And Roy Hodgson has said that he can't really do anything about it, but they do want a fair price for the attacker. Obviously, a fair price isn't the 40 million with instalments that Arsenal originally offered, so they're going to have to up their price just a little bit. As for Saliba, it has set them back 30 million, but in this day and age, even Arsenal can afford that. But moving on to the next piece of transfer news, and Sergei Milinkovic-Savic, a fantastic name, one of the longest in European football, could be on the move. We've heard this rumour all before within the last few seasons, but this time the Lazio president has admitted that his star midfielder may be leaving. He said in a press conference that last summer he had all the weapons to reject all of the offers, but this summer he may not be so lucky. With a midfielder valued at around 100 million euros last season, they said no, but this season it could be around 80 million. That's because he hasn't actually had the greatest season. It was clear last year that he looked like the replacement for Pogba at Manchester United, or Real Madrid wanted him to dominate the midfield. But after a less than impressive season, I'd say average to good at best, which in fact he did win the Italian Cup with Lazio, it seems that his price has dropped just a little bit. Of course, 80 million euros is still massive amounts of money, but at 24 years old, he's probably worth a pop. If United do end up selling Paul Pogba, he looks like a ready-made replacement, and they could be tempted into selling him. But away from the transfer news for just a minute, and to Zlatan Ibrahimovic, because, well, he's always interesting because he's always saying or doing ridiculous things. Ahead of El Tráfico this weekend, for those of you who don't know what that is, that's Los Angeles Galaxy against LAFC in the MLS. Zlatan's been speaking about the level of the MLS and his rivalry with LAFC striker Carlos Vela. Both of them are vying for the Golden Boot in the league. However, Zlatan finds himself 6 goals behind Vela on 13. When asked about whether or not Vela is the best player in the MLS, Zlatan said no, he is, because Vela's there in his prime. And when was Zlatan aged 29? Well, age 29, Zlatan was actually at Barcelona, one of the biggest clubs in the world. But he was midway through a massive fallout with Pep Guardiola and wasn't even really playing, so I'm not sure he could pipe up too much. Alongside this, when asked about the level of the league, he said, well, basically, he's a Ferrari playing amongst Fiat. That's pretty harsh considering he's doing so much to help grow the reputation of the league. Maybe he should take a leaf out of Wayne Rooney's book, who is doing fantastic things with DC United. So I want to put this question to you guys. And don't worry, Zlatan's not going to come and hunt you down if you vote against him. But I'm going to leave a poll right here whether you guys think Zlatan or someone else is currently the best player in the MLS. Of course, if your option isn't up there, you can always let me know in the comment section down below. So next up, to a team who is a rather unknown quantity, despite the fact they're only a couple of miles away from Liverpool. On the other side of the English and Welsh border sit Connah's Quay Nomads, who last night managed to make it through to the next round of the Europa League qualifying stages after beating Kilmarnock. Now, I know what you're thinking. Many of you may not have heard of these two teams. Connah's Quay are Welsh part-timers, and Kilmarnock are in the Scottish Premier League, full-time professionals, and they lost 2-0 at home. This means that the Welsh team have set up an amazing tie against Partizan Belgrade in the next round, and 6 of them are back in work this morning because, as I mentioned, they're only part-time. Boss Andy Morrison said that this comeback was better than the Liverpool against Barcelona game in the Champions League semi-final. He may be stretching things a bit there, but for his club it's one of the biggest results ever, and maybe one of the biggest for any Welsh team. Welsh Premier League team that is, not taking into account Swansea or Cardiff. The amazing thing is that Connah Quay's home stadium allows 1,500 people in with only 500 seats, as opposed to Partizan Belgrade's home stadium in Serbia, which has 32,000 seats at capacity. It'll be a massive step forward for them and something that they'll definitely remember for the rest of their lives. But lastly but not least, we come to a roundup of all the day's transfer news, where Pedro Obiang, the West Ham midfielder, is subject to a €9 million bid from Sassuolo. 2 days after signing Cucurella back from Eibar, Barcelona have loaned out the left winger to Getafe. Jordan Veretout is close to sealing his move to Roma within the next few days, and Neymar's agent is so desperate to get his client out of Paris that he's been meeting with all the top clubs around Europe, including Juventus, Bayern Munich and Manchester United. So what do you guys think about Arsenal's transfer business? Are they doing things right, or do they need solutions immediately? Is Zlatan Ibrahimovic really the best player in the MLS? And let me know all of your thoughts on the rest of today's daily news. Of course, leave your comments down below in the comment section, smash the like button whilst you're down there, and click here or here to check out all of the other videos we've got going on Onefootball. But until next time, have a great weekend, and I will see you guys later.